About time to send me so many relics for appraisal.
Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm just gonna let this fly out. Genshin Impact isn't the same, and it hasn't been the same since Natlan started, and has been actually at a decline over time. Due to the fact that there's only 2 in-game modes that it's only once a month, and there's a lot of things that's bringing Genshin down, and I'm going to talk about mainly a few of them. And one of them, in my opinion, is the domains for talents and weapon upgrades. I feel like there shouldn't be a set date for them. They should be available at all times on any day, in my opinion. On top of that, I feel like 200 resin needs to be increased. That's just my opinion. 200 resin just feels nothing. There's so many things in this game that you have to invest in that 200 resin week worth isn't enough. There are 90 plus characters in the game, and just leveling up the characters is just so repetitive that the game isn't fun to play. The only reason why I'm playing it right now is because there's story content for me to do, but once the story content's done, I'm at a halt. I didn't play last patch due to the fact I was just not interested in it, and it's just my opinion. I just didn't find Genshin Impact. I had a lot more stuff going on and all that. I feel like on top of that, Genshin releasing trailers of their live stream for the next story is just spoiling everything. Now, in my later streams, when I was streaming Genshin, I sound excited, but in the end, I wasn't really excited at all. Now, I've always had this feeling. I've always spoke my mind. I feel like the game caters new players way too much that there's nothing for the older players to do besides farming artifacts, and that's it. There's no reason to do that. It takes too long to build a character. It takes too long to level up a character, ascend a character. Even with the world tier being at max, it still takes so much time to do all that. And on top of that, new players don't generally have an idea who they are going to play as or play to deal with some of the bosses. And at the same time that I've talked to my girlfriend about this, she stopped playing Genshin after she just got back into Genshin. And the worst part is, I asked her this one specific question: how would you feel if you managed to pull the 5-star character? She said, I would probably be more invested in playing the game. But because I'm stuck with characters that I don't enjoy, it just seems boring to me, she said. I have no reason to explore. She just finished Leeway story quest. She's not even that far. She's only in the 2nd region, and she's already done with the game. There's no in-game content for me to do anything, So I'm really honestly banking on her playing the game to the point where I can help her grind, help her farm bosses. But she's just so sick and tired of doing it. And she's only AR 31, just to show you guys. She is... right here. She's only AR 31. She was on today. She's only done the Spiral Abyss up to 3. World level 3, 31. Only have 110, 110. And she's just done because she doesn't have the character she wants to play or enjoy. Though she is doing her daily logins and all that for the potential of getting a character. But the game has gotten so boring that I told her that she needs to take her time playing through the game. And at the same time, if you take your time, you're finding yourself dreading more and more, because if you take your time, you can't do the events, you cannot do the in-game content, and you're missing out on potential 5-star characters that she might want. And if she speeds through the game, there's no in-game content for her to do to even utilize the 5-star characters. So she's, at the same time, you either do everything, potentially get the character, and then regret not getting the character because you can't utilize the character, or she takes her time and misses out on potentially 7, 8, 9 patches of characters. By then, Genshin is already done. We're on Nation 6. Nation 7 is right around the corner. And it's gotten to the point where I feel like the game isn't enjoyable. People are now realizing Genshin has been on a downward spiral since Inazuma. Fontaine brought it up, but only for a little bit. And I feel like when people don't state their concerns about something, the devs will never fix their issue. They will never address it. But when people do state their issues, the devs can potentially add something that can fix the issue, or potentially add something that everyone benefits. But at this current time, I've only seen them benefiting the newer player base, but then the new player base don't even last long enough to even play the game and utilize it. So at the same time, it's a lose-lose situation for Genshin. Yes, they're making so much money, but I honestly don't know if the revenue banners are even true. I feel like the revenue banners is a false lie. I feel like it's just the total amount of primos that has been used on a banner. So let's say I use all my free-to-play primos instead of spending, let's say, $100. Okay? Because $100 equals to the amount of primos I have farmed free-to-play, it is still marketing it as potentially money I'm spending in the game when I didn't spend any money on the game. And I feel like that is also possibly throwing off revenue charts. And I think there's no way in the world that Genshin made $100 million from Malvika and Cialoli's banners. With the terrible rewards of Lantern Rite. right after it. There is no way. Okay? On top of that, if I was recalled, we were supposed to get a free 5-star character on Genshin's year leaving, if I'm correct. And it's a standard banner. And I honestly don't feel like the standard banners don't even live up to the thing. Let's just be honest. I'm going to ask you guys, generally, players that have made it all the way up to the end game content. I have to ask you guys this. How many people use the new 5-star that's on the standard banner? Tanari, Dia, Mona, Kachin, Chi-Chi, Jean, Diluc on the standard banner. Tell me, do you still use them after reaching AR 50 and making it all the way up to now? Do you still use them as your main team? If so, let me know in the comments. But I just feel like Genshin is at its all-time low. And I feel like even with them releasing Snezhnaya, I don't think the player base is ever going to be at its peak again. I feel like this is the dropping point where miHoYo is now realizing that they're already too far late, gone. They messed up. They can't save this game. So they're banking on new players to come into the game, and hopefully they spend money on their game. Because there's a lot of content creators going free to play now. They're not spending money on the game anymore because there's no need to spend money. We should be able to spend money on the game because we feel like spending money on the game. Okay? We don't want to be forced to spend money in the game. We want to be willing to give you money in the game. That's how the customer of multiple games work.
What a place.
I feel like this is what kills Genshin. And why I feel like Genshin has moved away from the whole adventure style game to more of a cash cow, mini game, unenjoyable game. And I feel like they realized they messed up, so they're trying to make up the money on their other games, and it ended up dragging the other games like Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero. They are going to be dragging those games down because of the bad reputation that Genshin is doing right now. And those who are complaining about Wandering Waves and Genshin, I'm sorry to say this, but Wandering Waves already planned out on giving people free 5-star characters again. They've already gave everyone a free 5-star character at the start. Gave another free 5-star character from their issues on the week of launch. Gave out a free 5-star that I wasn't there for the event, so I don't have that. And then they're planning already giving out another free 5-star. And on all of that being said, two out of the 4 5-stars that Wandering Waves gave out are limited time banner characters. There is no 50-50 on weapon banners. You're guaranteed the weapon. So in the end, yes, people are going to compare Genshin to this. And the only way people will let Genshin go off this topic is if Genshin devs step it up. I feel like Genshin devs needs to add and take initiated that they messed up. They needed to just straight up say it on live stream. Okay? Say, we messed up. So in return, we're giving everyone out a free 5-star limited banner character of your choice. Okay? We will eventually be adding more in-game content revolving around co-op combat. Because there's no reason to play co-op at all in this game unless you are in need for help. Okay? That is just honestly the oops, didn't mean to. But yeah, I just feel like the game is just being overshadowed so much from all the, like, it's just being shadowed by all the horrible things that Genshin has done bad, and in the end you can't blame the people that are making this. I want to talk about this real quick before I actually jump into the story content. Is Tectone, Doro, well, I should say Tectone, the person that made the changes to the weapon banner, did make the change of the weapon banner. If you guys don't accept that, you are 100% stupid. He has spent over, I believe, $800 just for a chance of getting a staff of Homa, when it shouldn't even cost you that much. If anything, no game should charge you no more than $40. Well, I mean,
my parents
some games do,
no matter
but
how busy
I feel like
gets,
$100 for
always sit
a
down and
potential
enjoy a proper
digital
meal when
thing
you get hungry.
should not cost you that
What I
much.
like to do is stack my plate up high.
And I feel like that is a thing that Tectone, we should be thankful for Tectone. Okay? During this time, I wasn't playing Genshin, so I played Genshin, I believe, like the first it launched, and I was like, was it for me? And then I came and played because I actually had people to play, and I sped through, I'm not gonna lie, I sped through Mondstadt, I sped through Leeway, I wanted Raiju Shogun so bad, and I didn't get Raiju Shogun. I did the Spiral Abyss as far as I could. I couldn't do it as much. There was no reason to co-op, though I believe I co-opted a few times, and that's just because I couldn't do the artifact domain on the highest difficulty, and I didn't want to wait to farm artifacts, which I should have done, and farm talents. And I feel like if the 4-star characters, and here's the thing, okay, the 4-star characters are so weak that you 100% need the constellations to make them even par for the in-game content. If you do not have C6 or I should say C6 Qingqiu or C5 Bennett or C6 Changlin, you are putting yourself at a huge disadvantage compared to someone that does have it and can do Spiral Abyss. Oh, I can barely complete Spiral Abyss already with my characters, and I have mediocre builds. I don't want to sit here and build a character for days on end just to use them for in-game content that is only going to be done one time. If you really think about it, I'm only going to be using the character one time for 30-something days. And then I have to rebuild another character just for that Spiral Abyss. or build another character for Imagine Theater. There needs to be an in-game content mode that is weekly or just infinite that I can still farm rewards. Even if it's Mora, experience books, hell, I would even take as much as... Let me look. Let's just be honest. I feel like I would take as much as like maybe like as potentially add a in-game content that you can get free past event weapons that I can do weekly, and it's randomized. Make it to where the loot is randomly dropped in that event, in that in-game content, that makes me want to keep doing that content until I have got a decent amount of event weapons and I can use it for multiple characters. I feel like that should be a thing. I don't think the event weapons that players have not been playing during that time, or new players that have, like, let's just be honest. If players have started now, they couldn't get the Ultimate Overlord Mega Magic Sword. Players cannot get Cloudforge. Or is it Imperial Pierce? I don't know. It's one of those two. People can't get the Asgrave Drinkhorn. What else can they not get? You can't get Balin's Boundless Blue. What else can you not get? Event weapon wise, you couldn't get Discord Calamity of Ishiru. Can't get that anymore. You can't get Mailflower anymore. You can't get Dialis of the Desert Sage. Can't get that anymore. It sucks. It really sucks for new players because they can't get the weapons anymore. And when new weapons come out, it's locked behind a certain region that's not available to them. They could go and do Natland right after Mondstadt, but at the same time, if you do that, it is not going to add up at all in the story, because in the end, Mondstadt story leads into Leeway, and Leeway story leads into Inazuma. Inazuma's story leads into Sumeru's story, and Sumeru's story leads into Fontaine, and Fontaine's story leads into Natlan. If you went and did Mondstadt, then go do Natlan, there are going to be dialogues in Natlan that the new player is going to have been, they're going to have a conversation with the NPCs that talks about a certain character that they might never ever met. They could be talking about, oh, we know someone that Fontaine, and all that, and all that. But because you didn't do Fontaine, you wouldn't know who they're talking about. They could be talking about someone in Leeway. You don't know who they're talking about. They could be talking about Raiden Shogun. We stopped an entire war. No one's going to know that we went to war at Inazuma and we stopped a war. We literally fought a literally god of lightning and saved an entire nation from a corrupted you know what I mean. I'm just lost the train of thought. I feel like Genshin has lost a lot of value. I've stepped away from the game. I haven't logged in for like over 42 days, and I had the waking thing and not waking, the returning thing. And then I was asked, how was my experience returning to the game? Was it better? Was it worse? Or was it the same? And to be honest, it was worse. And the reason why it was worse is because coming back to the game after taking a long break opens your eyes way much more. Because when you stop playing this game, and you go and play a different game that has the same features as Genshin, but just does Genshin stuff better, you really start to dread the things in Genshin that Genshin could have done, but they just became so greedy to the point where it's just unenjoyable. Now, some people are going to ask me, well, why do you play this game? I played this game for 2 reasons, and 2 reasons only. Okay? I like the character designs. I really do. I really like the anime style, adventure style. I like the concept of Genshin. The only thing that's bringing this game back is the fact that the devs don't know how to do well with Genshin. Genshin was a mistake that happened that shot up in popularity during the COVID thing, and that's the reason why Genshin is popular to this day. Okay? If it wasn't for that, I promise you 1000% Genshin wouldn't even had made this much. Had made it this far. I think Genshin would have been dead on the spot if it wasn't for COVID. I feel like MiHoYo was just dumb lucky and struck a gold mine when they weren't even trying to. And you know what they say, when a dev team creates a game and they accidentally hit a gold mine, you would think they would want to cherish it and do everything they can to make sure their player base is as happy as possible. But in the end, it has divided the player base by a significant amount. There are people making threats. There are people losing their marriage. There's people breaking up over just these NPCs in the game. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to straight up be honest, guys. It's a fucking game. Okay? I should be able to come and enjoy the game. But in the end, there's no in-game content for me to enjoy. So tell me that, am I wrong to ask for a better in-game content, rewards that actually is good and not just scraping at the bottom of the barrel? Is it bad to ask for improvement in the game? Is that asking for too much in the game? Because I promise you this, at a real life job, you are always asked to go up and beyond at your job. Okay? No matter how much you fuck up, you have to admit you were wrong. Okay? If there is an issue at your real life job and it gets addressed to you, you would want to improve it instead of losing money, right? Same with Genshin. Genshin is no other exceptions if you think about it. You have a dev team that creates a game. You have us fill out the survey. You ignore the survey we fill out for you to only hurt yourself in the long run. And people just keep smoking and saying the game's alright, when the answer is it's clearly not. So in my concern is I'm gonna just do as bare minimum on Genshin now. Genshin has lost all value to me at this point, because at this point I thought I can enjoy the game. I was hoping to have in-game content that I could play with my friends, but everyone's gone. Everyone quit. And the reason why is it became so repetitive on doing the same thing for basically for 4 years. Imagine doing the same thing every day for 4 years with nothing new for you to enjoy. If you enjoy this style of game, there is something seriously wrong with you. I enjoy the game design, okay? But my second reason why I enjoyed this game is, to be honest, I was at the point where after Sumeru, I was debating if I wanted to continue playing. And then Fontaine came out, I started the story, and Fontaine's story was just so goddamn good. It kept me going. And I came to Natlan with high expectations, only to have it ruined by the VA strike. And it's nothing against the VA. It's the fact that everyone wants to go to this AI bullshit that made me start dreading the story. Did you know this? That might even shock you. That when I pulled... When I pulled... Where is she? Ison. Will you believe me? I've never heard her character's voice until the day I pulled her. And wasn't expecting her voice to be that way. It's bad enough that this character was in the beginning of Natlan. On day 1 of Natlan. And I completely forgot what she sounded like. And on top of that, the story content did not have anything to do with her. Despite her being one of the main characters for the story, it had nothing to do with her. It had nothing to do with Chaska. There was nothing to do with Kanich, nothing with Mulani. It was such a disappointment that they lost the value of characters on the story because they wanted to focus on the war so much. And to be honest, they could have spread out the story and added the character stories first and forced you to do the character stories first, then do the Archon quest. That would have made a much impactful story. But because they didn't, they just became overshadowed. I don't even use Chaska anymore. She got power crept so much by Malvika that I don't even use Chaska. If I use Chaska, it's because the Spiral Abyss requires animo damage. That's literally it. There's nothing more to me about that. I'm sorry if you guys don't like my opinion about this, but it has dragged on for so long, for 4 years, that it's shocking. It is dumbly profounded that this game has not made any changes for in-game content it was only focused on new players, and guess what? New players don't even stay long enough to play it. It is that bad. I might not even stream the tribe story on the stream. I feel like I'm just making an entire rant video at this point.
Soil, making sure the temperature
Because
is right.
it's just, there's just nothing to this game that brings any enjoyment. I pulled Veressa, and it wasn't because I wanted her. I pulled her when I was pulling for isnt. I was on a 50-50 and managed to win the 50-50 off stream. I pulled isnt. I did not want her. But the reason why I'm using her and why I have her level
You have
up
to keep the fruit
is because my girlfriend wants this character. So I need to know how to build her. I need to know how to use her. So I can walk my girlfriend through it. Because, let's just be honest, my girlfriend doesn't have any fucking Natlan character. She hasn't started Natlan. Okay? And if she wants this character, by means, I'll do my best to learn how to play that character, how to optimize her, how to use her with a free-to-play weapon, how to use her for a free-to-play team. I will do everything I can. And I hope she does end up seeing this, because she doesn't realize that how much effort I put in to help out everyone in Genshin. And overall, I'm only playing the game because I'm so far in the story that I don't want to go back and not finish and see the end of the story. And I promise you this. If they do not land the story at the end of the game well enough, you know for a fact that this is going to affect the company long term. Okay? Just a fact. It is not a it's not a thing I'm just guessing. It is going to be an utterly fact. It's already bad enough that the greed is settling in Honkai Star Rail, and eventually it's going to start settling into Zenless Zone Zero, which by means I hope not, because Zenless Zone Zero is so good right now. I haven't even started the new story quest yet, so I don't know. I've been holding off on Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero so much because I'm so bored of the greed of this game. It actually kills my vibe and enjoyment of Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero so much that it really makes you question if the devs of these games, this company, is even remotely listening to the feedback for players. And that's my state of concern, and I think that's why I'm gonna stop there and continue playing the game. But I feel like that is why people are not coming back to Genshin, and why some people don't even stay to play Genshin. Logging in every day is just too much. Logging in with knowing the fact that there's nothing for you to do, and is to spend 5 minutes on the game and log right out, is god awful for an adventure game. No adventure game should be like that, where you log in 5 minutes and get bored and not want to play. Ask you this question now. If this is an adventure game, this puts a shame to adventure games, because think about it. This game could be something like Elden Ring style. Elden Ring, phenomenal game. One of the best Soul games I've ever played. In the environment of Elden Ring, the combat was enjoyable. It's hard, but not too hard sometimes. They do have optional bosses that is hard. But in this game, you are grinding and doing events. And it's just damage check after damage check after damage check. And I want to let you know this. Not all games need damage checks. It's the same with Apex Legends. Apex Legends is a free-to-play game. And a lot of pro players did not want to listen to the casuals. So, for the first time ever, Apex listened to the casuals. And some of the top players came up and said, hey, this game is fun now. It's enjoyable. We were wrong to not listen to the casual player base. Stop trying to balance everything and just make the game fun. Well, why can't Genshin do that? Why can't the devs get that? Just make the game fun and stop focusing on your pockets of your wallets. That being said, I'm sorry, I'm done ranting about this. I just wanted to make this video about that. I'm actually going to end the stream and restart another stream. Maybe. I literally am just talking about it just killed my mood of Genshin right now. And that I was going to do the story content, but it's literally gotten me so frustrated that is it even worth me playing the game anymore. That being said, that's just my honest opinion. I really do want to listen to your guys' feedback. I know some of you guys might not agree with what I said, and I know some people will agree with me what I said. To be honest, I don't care. Those that disagree with me, just be grateful that I might not stay for the game for very long. Okay. And all that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.